minutes, and then we'll start. 3:01. Make sure the comments are loaded up. That looks incredibly precarious. If you fall, I'm gonna laugh. Okay. Alrighty. One more minute and then we will start. Very gargoyle what you got going on right now. Very gargoyle-esque. Come on, there we go. Hello everybody and welcome to Meet the Dog. I'm Chris and with me today is Jenny. Jenny is from the Christmas litter born back Christmas 2021. Her parents are Capri and Trip. She's a very good girl, weighing in at probably, I think, around 110, 120, if I remember correctly. She eats twice a day, 3 cups each when she decides to actually eat. She's doing very well in her training. Some of her strengths include her pace and her bracing. But things I saw that she needs improvement on are she has a bit of a head swivel going on. And I think it was either her downstays or under the legs, but I think it was going underneath legs. She needs a little bit of work on. She's a very sweet girl. She has some fun habits that we love dealing with now that the weather's getting warmer. She loves to drag her fluffies outside and lie down on the veranda to enjoy the weather. And then we have to drag the fluffies back inside, only for her to drag them back outside. It's just a fun little process that we have going on. You're such a sweet girl. Jenny can be identified by her. She has the thin white stripe going along like that. That is how I used to tell her apart from the rest of her litter when she was younger. Yeah, so let's open it up to some questions about Jenny. And in the meantime, I will just kind of spew any facts that I can think of. So lately we've been I made a bit of a joke about it when I was talking about how much she eats during the day. But recently she's been giving us some trouble with feeding. I'm sure you've probably seen it on the camera. I'm sure you saw it this morning if you were watching. She's not been very interested in her food. I think she just might not be super hungry. She keeps getting distracted. This morning I had to have her on the leash to get her to eat. Great that if I recall correctly, I think she did finish it with a lot of coaxing. They'll go through phases like this sometimes where they just don't want to eat, or I should say, don't want to eat as much. And currently, she and a couple of the dogs are going through that right now. It's just very fun to deal with. Also, you look like you need a bath. You are mostly brown, so we're gonna have to do that at some point, and I'm sure you're gonna love it. Any questions about Miss Jenny? There we go, one new comment. Let me see while we wait for some questions, any other things I can think of. She gets along very well with her siblings, particularly her brothers Wallace, Davis, and Jack. Crafty says, how close is she to placement? I haven't heard anything just yet. As I mentioned a bit earlier, It seems like she's doing well in her training. When I walk her around the farm, she has a pretty good pace on her walk. She's not really pulling me. I don't think she's one of the priorities to get placed right now. She definitely seems like she needs a bit more polishing up, but I think she is well on her way. She's definitely doing well. There's a lot of hope for her. I think she just she needs a little bit of a finishing touch before we can really say like, oh yeah, we're going to be trying to get her out. Barb V asked, how has she changed as she's got older? That's a good question. I don't think she's changed all that much. She's definitely becoming a bit more of a brat as she gets older. Definitely giving us, as I mentioned before, giving us a bit of trouble with the feeding. She can be a bit of a rascal when it comes to fences. She does tend to like to provoke some of the other girls into fence fighting sometimes. Not like full-on fence fights, but just like riling them up. She's getting a lot better about it. She's not doing it as much, but every once in a while she'll rile up Sandy or Waverly. Beyond that, she honestly hasn't changed all that much. Or at least nothing so noticeable that I can just think of it off the top of my head. Bar VS, what 3 words would best describe Jenny? Spoiled. Sweet. She's a real sweetheart. I'd say smart. She's pretty smart. She sometimes a bit too smart for her own good. But she kennels up very well. She knows that she's right after eating. She knows that she goes straight to her kennel. Sometimes she gives us a bit of trouble with that, but usually she knows that like, oh, I eat, I go straight to the kennel. As I said, she's very good with the pace, so she's clearly learning her leash walking very well. So I would say spoiled, but sweet and smart. Crafty asks, do you bathe the dogs? Yes, we are trying to, now that it's getting warmer out, we're going to start trying to do that more regularly. It can be a bit hard to kind of fit that into the schedule, but it's going to be something we're going to be making a push for, especially with like Jenny and Wallace, because they have a tendency to get absolutely filthy, and they start to change color. So now that the weather's getting warmer, we're hopefully going to be doing that a bit more, or we'll be having some volunteers help us with that. Not a meet the dog question, but you know what? I'll answer this one. It's about the hip packs that I'm wearing. Are they used? What treats and tools are kept in there? So for this, I have 2. For one of them I use for treats, the other one I use for my leash and poo bags as needed. I always keep a leash on me. I've learned that the hard way, that you always want to have one on you. That was asked by Amy L. Crafty asks, how is she on overnights in public transit? I haven't heard anything about her on public transit yet. And the last time she went on an overnight, I think it was for when she got spayed. I don't recall hearing anything negative about that. I think she did fairly well. She hasn't been on one since then. Obviously, the rule applies that with all the girls, I need to find out to get along with Emma first before I can take them home to find out for myself. So I'll hopefully try to do that with her at some point. Barbie, she looks so innocent standing there so quietly. Yeah, you wouldn't guess that she's a spoiled brat. You would never guess. Yeah, you're a sweetheart, though. I love you still. Even if you're, oh my god, you are so dusty. Okay, yeah, ooh. That's... Alright, we're going to give it another 5 minutes or so for any more questions about Jenny. I just petted her, like dust just came off in waves. So, yeah, really needs the bath. Granted, as soon as we give them a bath, the very next day they're back to where they started, so... Any more questions about Miss Jenny? A bit of good news while we wait for a question. We found out recently that she gets along very well with her sister. So we've tried them a couple times. They get along very well. So we're going to keep trying them out and see if they are just able to play together without any supervision. But so far it seems like they will be able to. So that's some very good news we found out recently about her. Crafty asks, you still bathe the dogs in front of the laundry building? Yes. We have also started using ice. We're not using ice right now, obviously, because the puppies are in there and Capri's in there. We don't want to stress her out. But now that the weather's warmer, that we will be bathing them in front of laundry. Those are kind of our two bath locations. Honestly, I prefer ice because since we can put them in the kennel and hose them down, there's a lot less area for them to run around. But as I mentioned, we can't use that right now. Cammy asks, how does she do on loading up? I did notice at least one note in her training that mentioned she needs some work on loading up. Obviously, they're getting her out regularly enough that it's not an issue. But she probably has just a little bit of trouble every once in a while. Maybe she just doesn't want to get in the car. But I did notice a note that she has a little difficulty with it sometimes. Barvey asks, what's something that you love about Jenny? Got some very noisy birds right now. What's something that I love about Jenny? I think it's this. I love the thing I love about her is the same quality she shares with a lot of her siblings. Is that they're just very cuddly dogs. When I go into the kennels with them and put their fluffies in for the night, they will just lie down. As soon as I put them down, they'll lie down. They'll immediately want loving from me. They'll roll over, just be like, "Hey, give me some hugs." They're just her and all her siblings are just very sweet dogs, and it's something that I truly love about them. Yeah, it's very windy outside right now. The arena is shaking. That's pleasant. Gonna give it one more minute for any last minute questions about Jenny. Any last minute questions about Miss Jenny? I'll see what I can think of in the meantime. Any final questions? Alrighty, I think that's all the time we have. Thank you all for tuning in. We will be back next week with another dog. Thanks again. Everybody have a good night.